Hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a 4 race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick 4 ticket. Thank you for joining us. It's week number 42 of the racing season, and we're making our final visit of the season to historic Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto, Canada. They have 4 stakes, including a pair of Grade 1s. The pick 4 starts in race number 8. It ends in race number 11, and they are all stakes in that. Well, excuse me, they are not all stakes in that pick 4 on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp. Each week I'm going to be joined by my friends and racing analysts and folks. It's our East Coast handicapper. He comes at you from his home in Staten Island, New York. Ray, I think I've asked you all the questions I know about Canada, so just tell us, how have you been lately?
Good. Canada, I would love to go there. It's about 7 hours away, and I'll go right through Jersey, Pennsylvania, back to New York, to Rochester, and then Buffalo, and then I'll be in Canada. And I love Niagara Falls, actually. I really do.
That's funny to think that for you it would take 7 hours to get to Canada. For me, it would take 7 hours to get to San Francisco.
Wow.
All right. Up next is our West Coast handicapper, and he's coming to you from his home in Temecula, California. It's Joe English. Joe, I know you've never been to Canada, and I know you're not really into Canadian beer. So how have you been lately?
Yeah. I'm doing all right, Rich. And 7 hours to San Francisco is, you got to be doing pretty good on that freeway. Then you got to be doing probably like 90 or so to get to San Francisco in 7 hours from where we are. It was 7 hours from LA. So.
All right. Last week was pick 4 wars. Instead of teaming up, well, we played against each other last week, and at 3 different tracks around the country. And in true Three Broke Guys fashion, we barely teamed up to hit 4 races last week. As Ray and Joe, I will give you guys credit, they both went 2 for 4 in the early pick 4 sequences at Belmont and Keeneland, respectively. Before I mopped up, literally, I had a mop and a bucket and wipes and the whole thing. So I went a beautiful 1 for 4 showing at Santa Anita. I'll even whisper this: I just had the chalk in the 1 race. Guys, we've got 11 weeks left in our season, so let's try and close out strong in 2018. Got a quick weather update here coming at you from Toronto, Canada. They are partly cloudy skies in the morning, and they will give way to cloudy skies during the afternoon. There is a slight chance of a rain shower. It's a high near 50, winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Actually, for racing fans, that's actually perfect. There is exactly a 20% chance of rain there in Toronto tomorrow. A total of 11 races. There's 4 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick 4, beginning in race number 8 and concluding in race 11. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. It's starting to rain here, and I want to go play. First rain of the season out here.
All right. Approximate post time is 5:05 p.m. Eastern time. $200,000 guaranteed in the 20-cent pick 4. So don't forget, it's a 20-cent pick 4 increment tonight. In race number 8, they are going 6.5 furlongs on the all-weather, or if you like, the Tappeta surface. Maiden special weight, $45,000. The purse is $45,000 plus $6,300 from other sources for Ontario-sired maiden 2-year-olds. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 8. Wiley O'Reilly, trained by Robert Barnett and ridden by Alan Garcia, is 3-1 on the Woodbine morning line. And Joe, with the lightning flashing in the background behind me, you are hitting the leadoff tonight at Woodbine.
Yeah, no kidding, Rich. We're seeing. I mean, we're not that far from each other, so we're obviously seeing the same lightning. And like I said, it just literally 2 minutes ago just started coming down at my home. For like I said, first rain of the season. Anyway. For the Woodbine race, it's funny with the 2-year-old maidens. I want to go as deep as I possibly can, or actually maybe what I should just say is I would advise you to go as deep as you possibly can. In my case, I'm going to take the 2 favorites in the race. My top choice is the 1 Dundrum. I think the horse is going to be able to I think the horse is probably going to break pretty well. Given leg 6 first time and blinkers on, and probably from the rail he's going to have to go. At least I would think he's going to have to be forwardly placed. But they are going 6.5 furlongs. So if the horse is not forwardly placed, it's not the worst thing in the world. There will be time to make it up. But again, I just think with the Lasix on and the blinkers added, I think the horse will go to the lead. Emma Jane Wilson stays aboard, and she's coming back in. He's coming back in about 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks. So I think he's going to be okay. I think he'll be in contention. The horse that beat him, for second last time out, Wiley O'Reilly, is the morning line favorite. Deserves to be. There really isn't there isn't much in this race of the horses that have run. So the 8 is the other horse I would definitely have to use. And there is another horse I want to use. And basically I'm going with horses that have run already over the first time starters. And the horse I want to use is the 2, Charlie's Game. If you look at the connections, Michael Doyle and David Moran, obviously, 5 for 25 recently with a positive ROI late, which is obviously a good sign. It's the horse's third start. The horse actually had 2 starts early in the campaign, one in June, one in July, got a little bit of time off, hopefully has had a chance to mature. And I think in that early in that last race, he was probably faster. I mean, at least on raw times, he was faster than everybody else in this field has run already. So if that's the case, I think he might be the one on the lead. And it might be the 2 and the 1 battling early with the 8 as the possible closer on the outside to get up and beat them both. But again, it's not really a strong opinion. I'm just taking the 2 favorite. I'm taking the 2 best horses that have run, and I'm taking the speed angle, and hopefully maybe there's a chance that that the 2 can go wire to wire. But like I said, go as deep as you possibly can, because this would be the kind of race that could, if the favorites don't run well, you could start your pick 4 really nicely, really early. And I know our bugaboo generally has been leg 2. But like I said, I'm going 3 deep in this, and I would go deeper if I could. So it's 1-8-2 for me in the opener at Woodbine, Ray.
All right, thanks, Joe. You're going 3 deep. I'm going 4 deep. So I think together we will be 7 deep. I have a few other horses I'm thinking of here. This is a really tough race, and with maidens, you never know. They could come in second one time and then not show up next time, and you think they were progressing and whatever. But I'm gonna try and beat the favorites here. I'm going a little long shot heavy here. I mean, not really long shot, but they're decent prices. I do like the number 9, Victor's Dynasty. I'm trying to hear a first time starter. Your strong local jockey, Patrick Husbands. The shit got sharp 47 for a workout from the gate. The size Victor's Cry, and so he's got a decent breeding there. Trainer Tony Galliaro. He's 10% for the year, but he's actually 19% with main special weight. So I see he might do pretty well there. The only thing that bugs me a little bit is up at the horse that he's first time gelding, and sometimes that does. I don't know. I like them to be ungelded on his first run, but that's just my opinion. But maybe something physical happened to him, whatever. So they did geld him. So I go with the 9, Victor's Dynasty. My other horses, I got a horse here. He's got 3 lifetime starts. Number 5, White Wedding. He's got some experience. He's been in front most of the way, going this distance. He might be able to cruise with the lead with the horse Joe mentioned. So they might be battling out there. And the tractors do well on speed. You can see the back page 64%. So speed could do well here. At least before they place. But he's got Jesse Campbell, who's 11%. And he's had a few good workouts since his last race, 5 furlongs, 3 straight times. So they might be building him for a little stamina here. And he had been tiring at the distance last time. But he did do well. He finished, 7 by 3, 3 lengths. He only got beat by him. But he did have the lead to the top of the stretch. So he might progress from that race too. I do like number 10, Summer Retreat. He's on the outside. Wasn't a bad race for the first time out. He Lewis it was a minor stake race that they ran him in, and Lewis Contreras stays on. He should improve. He broke pretty well, and he fell back mid race and closed again. So he just had a bad trip, and that's what I think. And actually, I would consider this a drop in class, and he did have a good solid workout after that, a minute four. So I'll pick him, and I see Rich's check mark there, so that makes me feel good. It's Rich, we're in agreement here. I also like number 7, Suitor Connected. He's also first time starter by Robert Barnett. He's lightly trained, only 10 starts. But he got 2 wins, so that's 20%. His workout's pretty decent, and we get the apprentice, Kimura, gets the 5 pounds, and he's Kazuki, and he's good in sprints, 17%. So he likes going short, and he's probably a type of jockey you can get the horse to the lead. Yes, he worked out 35 in Woodbine. He's noticed, so he might show some speed this race. This horse, so he might be a little sneaky there. So I'll go 9, 5, 10, and 7. And with Joe's 3, we got 7 deep. And Rich, you got anybody else? You might think about there.
Let's see.
We're very deep.
Yeah, and so Ray already covered my top. My top pick. I've got dual check marks in this one, so I'm 9, 10 are my top 2. I've got Victor's Dynasty. I went with the first time starter, as Ray said. I was looking for someone that has absolutely no experience whatsoever, and that we haven't seen before to win this one. Even though Victor's Cry is not necessarily what you consider a really high percentage first time starter, just 6% there. And again, you're getting Tony Gattayaro. I guess there was a time when I really did follow Woodbine very closely. It was kind of like my winter track and my home away from home. Other tracks have since replaced it, and I do not know who Tony Gattayaro is or Gattayaro is, but I still know who Patrick Husbands is. And even though they've only combined 3 times, I imagine that the idea that he got Patrick Husbands on his horse for a first-time start, the horse there on October the 8th looks like he did a decent workout. So I thought it was worthwhile to go ahead and have the 9 as my top pick. I've got Luis Contreras, the other top jockey that I seem to remember from here at Woodbine. Another trainer who I'm not really all that familiar with, Andrew Smith. Just a few starts there in 2018, just 65 starts, but 14% winners. And you see there, him and Contreras together, they're actually hitting 33% together. And so those are my top 2 picks. I've got the 9, 10 really on my top line, but I agree with Joe and Ray. And if I'm not mistaken, up here on the very top, I opened it up as well to the 5 and the 8. So Ray already covered the 5 for you, which is White Wedding, the speed horse. He should be on the lead. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't have that horse on your ticket. And the 8, which is unfortunately the favorite, Wiley O'Reilly, who definitely seems like he's deserving. And I heard Joe's logic there, I believe, on the horse that finished 3rd behind Wiley O'Reilly, and I thought that was a worthwhile pick as well. So I just went 9, 10 here. Ray, I believe you went 9, 5, 10, 7, and Ray went 1, 8, 2. And let me try and come on back to you here amid the lightning and the thunder. We're getting a pretty cool background of side effects here, or special effects if that's coming through. I should open up my window so you guys can see, I guess, what's going on. See if we can. We'll see if we can't get some of those lightning flashes into our screen here tonight. As we move along to what I believe is race number 9. It is the first of our 2 grade 1s on the evening. It's a 1.5 miles. They're on the turf. It's the Pattison Canadian International Stakes. Again, it's a grade 1. The purse is $800,000 plus $160,000 if you're state bred, although I do believe that state is in Canada. For 3-year-olds and upward, 11 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 2. Thundering Blue, trained by David, and I hope I got this name right, Menussier, and ridden by Fran Berry. He's 2-1 on the Woodbine morning line. Inaugurated in 1938 on the dirt at Toronto's Long Branch Racetrack, except for consolidation during World War II. It remained there until 1956 when the track closed its doors. It was moved to Woodbine Racetrack in 1956, and in 1958 it became a turf race. The Canadian International has been won by many notable horses. The most renowned renewal was in 1973 when the Canadian International was the final race for Secretariat. Ray, the purse for this race is going backwards. In 2005, it was 2 million. It's now down to 800,000.
Wow.
Maybe we should rename it the Three Broke Guys Handicap.
Yes, right.
Who do you like in the Canadian International?
Secretary, he ran 224 and something, I know. That's what I like. Man, there's 11 of them. And, the second leg has always been our nemesis, our killers, our ripping up the ticket race, our shockers, our. Yeah, Joe. Oh, man. I'm 7 deep here. I couldn't come to a consensus here.
Wait a minute. Let's make
Okay,
this.
let's
Who
try it.
don't you like?
I know. I don't like the 3, the 5, the 7, and the 8. Okay. My top choice is fantastic. He's 8-1. He's a possible pace setter. He won the United Nations at Monmouth. He's got Johnny V. Chad. This is one of Chad Brown's. Got a few horses at the care. Where's the other race? No, he got a few of them. Yeah. But fantastic. He's a decent horse. He's coming off a layoff now, and he races so Dassy. He just probably, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. He just ran well, and just packed it in late. But they gave him a little layoff, and maybe this wasn't up to that race that day. And I give him another chance here. The hence odds are pretty high because that last race, but he did win the race before, and these races you never know. They come and show up, and they run, and we've had a lot of upsets lately, and I'm just I'm very open minded now in these races, and especially the turf races and second leg. My second choice is number 1, Marketoff. He's 20-1, but I'm willing to give him a chance because he ran decent in Northern Dancer. He ran 4th. It's a prep for this race, and he ran behind Johnny Bear, who's in this race, and so he was in the race, finished 4th by 1, and at 20-1, I can't really discount him to pick up another length against these groups. So I'm gonna include him. I like the number 2, Thunder and Blue, the favorite. He's coming shipped in from Great Britain. And he been running some group 1s, and he won his last race, Stockholm. And, so they shipped him over here for a reason. He's 6'19", 12 of the money. And he's been racing against some good horses. I see Roaring Lion there. And so, he's been running against some good ones. I'll give him a chance. I like number 6, Spin Quality. He won the Man, as we know, on the Belmont card. Got Edgar Prado in motion, and he's no factor last race in Turf Classic. And I guess he didn't like the soft turf. He ran horribly, but he was in the race in Saw Dancer, so he was finished 3rd by 3. I'll give him a shot. He's 4-1. Johnny Bear won the Northern Dancer Prep. He got good Woodbine stats. He's 22 starts, 4 wins, 6 seconds. And Contreras is aboard. Desert Encounter, first time Lexus USA. He's 7 for 22. They're coming in from the Desert Encounter. Yeah, he's coming in from Great Britain also. Been running in some Group 3s, and he did win a handicap race, so he has a shot. He got first time Lexus, which we like. And 11th Focus Group, another Chad Brown out of Jose Ortiz gets aboard. I like him. He won the John's Call, the distance race in Saratoga. Coming off a layoff. So he's 3 out of 4 against weaker. But he's with the layoff, maybe he'll get better, and then just Chad Brown knows what he's doing. So if he's in the race, I got it. If Charles Ortiz wants to mount, I gotta include him too. So 4, 1, 2, 6, 9, 10, 11 for me, Joe. Can you elaborate any more?
Wait a minute. Did you just give out your phone number on the air?
2, 9, 6,
Was that your phone number? Your social security number? What the hell? What was that?
I want to get through the second leg. It's just 20 cents here.
Right. Then just hit the all button. Don't because I can guarantee you if you
You don't have the winner still.
one of the other horses will win this race. I can almost bet. I would almost be willing.
Well, I'm hoping that one of you guys have the other four. So
you know what? You tell me. You tell me if you're going 7 deep, and I'll go to Pachanga, and I'll bet $2 to win on the other 4 horses. Just so we can have it covered.
I'm hoping that you guys like the 4. So I can
seriously.
You gotta help me. You gotta help me out. I still think I missed one. I got 4, 1, 2, 9, 6, 11.
10, 11.
10, 11. Okay, see, I knew. Look at that. I was like trying to keep track of all that. I was like,
I'm
wow.
serious. I think that's
I work too much.
Yeah,
Social security number is your Army serial number. What the hell is that? Is that the VIN number for your car? I don't know.
I didn't want to mention all 11, so I give you 7 of them. Pick the other 4. We'll be complete.
Hey, wait a minute. Maybe those are the Mega Millions numbers, and we can hit for like $540 million, and we won't be the broke guys anymore.
But
man, I didn't check my ticket yet.
Mr. Toronto, could you please give us your social security number? It's 412-96-10-1011.
There you go.
That's it. That's the
one. Because we've spent so much time talking about this race, I'm going to keep it simple. I only went 2 deep. Yeah, Ray's right. It's a tough heat, but even at 20-cent increments, you've got to make shortcuts somewhere at some point, because obviously, I mean, Ray already went 4 deep by 7 deep. So unless he's going real deep in the last 2 legs, I mean, his ticket's going to be, astronomically expensive. So I just went 2 deep. I like the 6 on top, spring quality. Like Ray said, he was not competitive in the last race in the Turf Classic. I'm just going to throw that one out, figuring he didn't like the soft turf. And I checked the weather at Woodbine before the show started. And I was like, okay, there shouldn't be any reason that the turf should be soft tomorrow. There should be some rain. There's a possibility of rain, but I don't think it'll be, because obviously in New York this summer and early fall, they've had a lot of rain. A lot of races washed off the grass, and Ray can attest to that. So, like I said, I'm going to give him a chance. He obviously won the Manhattan, was 3rd in the Sword Dancer behind a really slow pace, and did okay to finish 3rd. And like I said, I'll give him a pass. It looks like the other race he ran on the good turf wasn't necessarily that good either. At 23-1 in the Knickerbocker earlier in the year. And the other horse I liked is the one Ray mentioned, Mark It Off. And this, to me, I'm changing my angle. This is the next chair's angle. I'm going to be like, okay, now the horse is going to be down on the inside. He should be closer to the lead. He should not have to loop the field. If he's got a little speed, and this horse looks like he can be relatively close to the pace, and maybe he can get the same dream trip that next year's got to win last weekend. And Mike Maker and Irad Ortiz. Irad Ortiz is even better on the turf than he is overall, which again is really hard to do because turf races are generally fuller fields, and they're much tougher to win. You got to get the right trip just about all the time.
And he's really good on the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. He's good on the dirt, but I mean, he's even better on turf. So basically, like I said, since Ray's got those 7, unfortunately, I couldn't add to his ticket. All I could do is say I like the 6 and the 1 in the Canadian International. So, Rich, do you like any of the horses Ray doesn't like?
I don't even know if that's possible. I'm on the same 2 horses. My top pick is I'm on the 6. So I've got the 6 as my top pick, and I think you guys have already heard enough probably about spring quality. Joe covered it very nicely there. We have preached a philosophy on this show. It's actually going on 2 seasons now that we've been doing this about forgiveness. So just wipe that last one off the page. 39 lengths is not what this horse does. Grand Motion and Edgar Prado are a very solid combination, and I thought this was right up this horse's alley, and so I went with the 6 as my top choice in here. And then unfortunately, I ate the chalk. I kept going back and forth between the Euros that were in here, and I'm surprised. I was going to kick this over to Joe because I thought for sure Joe would have the whole angle on the Swedish racing for us. Joe, it's right after Delaware, for damn it. I thought for sure I was going to be tossing this over to Mr. English to give us a full summary on, Dos Blue Thundering or whatever. It didn't happen, and
No.
but this horse actually has been running against very solid competition, including one of our favorites. Right here we go, one of those little races over there in Europe, just 19 horses, and the horse finished second in that particular race, and then came back and won right after that. Finished third in a Grade 1 at York, which is the Judd-Mount International right there. So. That's right here with this type of competition as well, and then comes back and wins a Grade 3, as I said, over there in Stockholm, Sweden. So next year, Joe English is going to have that whole coverage for us on the whole Stockholm Cup International.
Live.
Rich,
Hey, look at 34 horses.
He will.
I was
He will.
This was finished 7th of 34.
34. Man.
September 2017.
34. There
Like
you go.
34.
Joe, right? Exactly.
I've seen pick 5 sequences with less horses.
Oh my goodness.
He'll be telling us all about David Mercier and how whenever he comes across the pond, what his hit rate is, and I don't even know what Barry Fran is. I was
what did they buy?
So I went 6-2, and I'm sorry I took up so much time there.
No,
I was just joking around.
Actually, it's funny, Rich, because I didn't even notice this. I want to elaborate just a little bit. Look at the sire. Look at the average winning distance for the sire and the dam on that horse.
Get that
6 furlongs and 6.7 and 6.4 furlongs. And this horse is running at 1.5 miles. I mean, I'm not. The horse can win, obviously. He won at 1.5 miles last time, but
they do, yeah.
Just really odd.
But exchange rate was a
Sprinter.
horse that wasn't long. Yeah.
No, he was more of a sprinter. He was more of a sprinter.
Oh, that's right. Exchange rate. Yeah. Danzig was going long. Yeah. Danzig went anywhere. Any distance.
All right. So I just went. I only went 2 deep there. So I just went 6-2. I believe Joe, who went before me there, he just went 6-1, and then Ray went with everybody else. Ray had, as we said before, his social security number is 412-96-10.
Remember, this is the second leg, guys. He's a killer. Everybody.
Come on back to you.
Let's get through it.
Just hit the other button.
As all 42 people who watch our show are now logging into Ray's checking account. All right, on to race number 10. And now we are going 1.25 miles on the turf. Just keep that in mind. It's the turf. The E.P. Taylor Stakes. And this is another Grade 1. The purse is $500,000. Again, plus $100,000 for state bred in Ontario. For fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 2. Santa Monica, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Jose Ortiz, is your morning line favorite on the Woodbine morning line. And you just had to know that if we were here and we were showing up, that eventually we were going to have to find the Chad Brown on turf. So there you go, folks. This is one of my favorite bobblehead dolls. This is Chad Brown, and he's showing up on his favorite surface. He usually sits over there with Bob Baffert, and Todd Pletcher has recently joined him over on my little bobblehead Hall of Fame. So this race was originally run as the Nettie Handicap. The race was renamed in 1981 to honor the late Edward Plunkett Taylor, president of the Ontario Jockey Club from 1953 to 1973, and a founder of the Jockey Club of Canada. To give you an idea of this guy's popularity, this race is actually run on the E.P. Taylor turf course. Joe, maybe someday they're going to refer to it as the Joe English turf course at Los Alamitos Racecourse. But in the meantime, who do you like in the E.P. Taylor?
Oh my God, I'm still mesmerized by the thunder and the lightning show that's going on outside my window. It's amazing. Wait a minute. Did Hurricane Michael make a drastic left and south turn or something, and it's all of a sudden pouring in my house? As far as it's funny because I went shorter in the other legs. This was the leg I probably found the toughest. You could probably go, I don't know, you can probably go 7 deep in this leg, Ray, and being that it's a 20-cent increment, I wouldn't put it past you, especially. But I decided that I guess I really don't necessarily hate anybody. I don't like anybody. I don't really have that strong an opinion. I guess the horse I went with on top was the 5 Golden Legend. I really do not know much about the trainer. The jockey I've heard of before. I just see that the horse has been winning grade threes in France, and generally, races like this, I always like to see that a horse is won at the distance. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to pick the horse if the horse has or hasn't, but I think this horse has been running against top class competition, running at this distance. 2 for 6 lifetime, 2 other in the money finishes, and shipping across. The jockey comes across. Jockey comes along, and I'm going to be fairly certain, at least I haven't seen, that Alexis Badel doesn't have any other mounts for the day. I'm not sure what he or she is giving up in France. So, like I said, if they're coming all this way, I'm going to take a shot. This is not a prep for the Breeders' Cup, is my guess. I'm thinking she's in to win, and I'll take 4-1 on the morning line. But again, she's not. I couldn't single. This race is really difficult. The 2 Santa Monica has to be considered, has to be used. Chad Brown, Jose Ortiz, doesn't really need to say any more about that. I also used one of the other Chad Browns, the 3 Polara, who's obviously also been running in France. Has had a little time off, but has run won a grade 3 last time out. And the horse that ran second won back. Obviously don't know the circumstances, but the other thing about this horse is that this horse is getting first time Lasix. She is a 3-year-old. So she will get a weight break as well. And of course she gets Irad Ortiz. Again, that guy who's pretty good on dirt, but is even better on turf. And I threw in one long shot. And that's the 6 Summer Luck for one guy who really does well in Canada, Mark Cassie, and the other guy that Rich, I'm sure you know of, is Eurico da Silva, who's winning at 28% up there, 163 wins for the season. He gets aboard this horse. The only time she's run at longer than a mile and a half was at Kentucky Downs. She finished second in the dueling grounds behind Daddy's Little Darling last year. And I see horses like Abel Tasman in her PPs. So I think this horse has a chance at a big number. Obviously, you get the best Canadian jockey. But again, this is a really difficult race. You could probably, like I said, go 7 or 8 deep out of the field of 9. But I just went 4 deep, 5, 2, 3, 6 were my choices in the EP Taylor. Ray, did you go Keno again?
No, just I kind of cool down here. I went 4 deep, little Chad Brown triple, and then and another horse. How's that? I do like Polara coming in from France. I do like that. 3 races, 2 wins, a second. So she could be undefeated for Shazanza. So this horse could have some talent, and Chad Brown has a habit of doing this. Picking these horses up from going to Europe, getting these horses, or I don't know, he must have a contact over there, and he gets them here, and they just become superstars. So this could be one of them. She's a 3-year-old, and looking forward for next year, 4-year-old. So we've seen this happen many times, and throughout the last 5 years, he's been very successful doing this. So this horse could have some talent. First time Lasix, and Irad Ortiz does join the party here. So that's my top choice. I do like Santa Monica. She's been good in grade 2 events. Now she stepped up to grade 1. She won the Glen Falls, Dead Smartly, and Sheepshead Bay. Third she was in that race. Picks up Jose Ortiz, so the 2 brothers could be down the stretch running together. And the choice is 4 races in the U.S., 2 wins, a second and a third. So she's acclimated well, and maybe she's up ready for this next test of a mile and a quarter, grade 1. I do like Elise's Sunshine Jubilee. I like them 7. Nice win in the Canadian last time. She's 4 for 8 at Woodbine. Louis Contreras aboard. Kevin Attar, the top trainer over there in Woodbine. This horse could be part of pace. Got some speed. and she could either get a nice trip or she could stay close to the lead and have first crack at the runners. So and she's 4 for 8 at Woodbine, like I mentioned, and she's 8-1, so that's a good price. Also, Laces World, I'll complete my chat on triple there. She's 3 for 5. The last 3 at Monmouth Park. She would love this added distance, I believe. And picked up Joe Bravo. And she's a closer, so she would love the distance, and maybe she'll get a good pace to run at. And Chad Brown's a trainer, so we get 3 for Chad Brown and another touchdown Jubilee. So I'll go 3-2-7-8 in the EP Taylor. I cut short there for only 4.
Just 4.
Just 4.
Just 4. I'm only using 4 in this race, for God's sake. It's not like
Make a decision, for crying out loud.
It's not like I went deep.
Honestly, I was single.
You only have 40% of the field. 44%.
I would single Palaro. I would. I have a strong feeling this horse. I would. If I really had to.
And to show you that every once in a while we start handicapping, very much alike and things like that, as you saw before, and like that. Me and Ray once again tonight, apparently 3,000 miles apart, handicapping very much alike. So I'm on the same horse. I used all 3 Chad Browns. I didn't break out the doll and the turf for nothing on this one. So I thought that Chad Brown, using 3 of his horses here in this race, it felt like he's going for it here. And so I thought to use the one that looked like, maybe, for lack of a better word, and you've heard us use it on this show before, this is the new face, or the scary new face from another place. This horse comes from, as you see here, France. I have it on good word. I actually heard it on this show recently like that the French horses are actually better on the turf than the British horses. I don't know where I heard that from, but I did hear it on this show. And, this horse came from France and comes over here and goes to Chad Brown, gets Irad Ortiz. Again, you heard earlier tonight, he's actually a better turf rider than he's even a dirt rider, and he's a pretty damn good dirt rider. And this horse has finished all of 3 races, 2 wins, 1 second place. Gets first-time Lasix coming over here. Chad Brown gets them ready. They hit right there. You see 21% when they ship to the USA. All of his stats, as a matter of fact, look fantastic for this type of race. And so Polaro was my top pick as well. So I put the check mark on number 3. Unfortunately, because Chad Brown's got the 2, which is Santa Monica, and he's also got the 8, which is Elyse's World, I just don't know which one is his best horse. And I don't actually know anybody in Chad Brown's barn either to call up to find out which one is his best horse. So I'm using all 3, and that's actually why, if you're wondering why I went a little bit shorter in the race that Ray went Keno in, the one where he gave out his Social Security number. So I just went 3-2-8 here. I believe that, Joe, you went 5-2-3-6 here. And Ray, actually, you started off there, are 3-2-7-8. That's gonna be an interesting race to put together.
Ray's pick 3 would be $56, even in a 20-cent increment. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. It's 50. I'm sorry. I keep screwing this up. This is a 20-cent increment, not
20-cent increment. Yeah, there you go.
Actually, his pick it would be
it's $112,
$22 already.
112,
and we still got 1 race to go.
That's how Toronto flies, man. That's his game.
I got it. Old ladies at the track I got it. All.
All right, I am back, and we are ready to hit into the finale, which, if you thought those first 3 races were hard to hear, we go into the finale. This is race number 11. They're going a mile and a 16th, and this is a claiming race. It's a $10,000 claiming race for non-winners of 2. The purse is $20,000 plus $4,000 for state bred, plus $4,000 from other sources, plus $810 from other sources. They get money from everywhere. It is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races. 13 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 4. It's trained by Martin Hinkson, and ridden by, I'm going to try this one, Daisaki Fukumoto. Is 3-1 on the Woodbine morning line. Ray, you're going from grade 1 stakes on the turf to $10,000 claimers for non-winners of 2 on the Tapeta.
No, man.
But we're looking to you in the finale. Bring us the money, Ray.
All right. I think I have a horse here. Number 9, Hidden Appeal. We're gonna go for it. Stays in the same class after a good race. Gets winners. Had Booker's Bane pretty well too. And get the best jockey here. The silver stays above. I mean, if the silver hangs around for race 11, I don't know. I think his horse has a chance. He's got the speed to stay off the, to be on the lead or just stay off the pace, and he should be on many last legs of pick fours. I believe Kevin Attard, same class, and 7-2. I think I can see him more 3-1, 5-2, but I like him a lot, and so I'm gonna go. I got a few insurance horses here. I go 3 deep. Actually, I like 2 horses, and I'm timid about the favorite written, but I do like number 12, Ocean Court. It's a little long shot, 8-1. Louis Contreras again. Kevin Attard. They have an entry here. Um, he might like the second race back on the Tapeta track. They had him on turf and for running against higher competition, higher price, and just kind of like I mean that 2 race back, he just ran very dwelled in the back, and he rallied at the end, finished fourth. So they put him back because if you notice, going 5 or 6 races back, he had run on the same surface, Ocean Court, on the surface, and he posted pretty well. He finished second, third. So I think he kind of likes his surface. They probably tried the turf for a higher price, and then the last race maybe might be a little shocker to him to be back on that surface. Kamura, you know, he just ran him from the back, and he hardly ever closed too much. So maybe second time out on the surface, he might do better, and he'll be in the same class. So I'll give him a shot at 8-1. And then we get number 4 written. He drops half in price over his fourth place finish. He gets the bug Fukumoto, and his past few races always been in the race. So he looks like he did break his main pretty well and then came back with a few seconds there. So he could be also made a few pick 4 tickets. So for my purposes, I'm gonna go 2 deep, 9-12, and the 4 on the bottom line for me. Joe?
Well, you guys both missed it.
9-12 or 9-2?
9-12, 12.
12?
Ocean Court, yeah.
Ocean Court. I'm sorry. I was on the wrong horse there.
Okay, no problem.
You guys both missed a golden opportunity. Written is the favorite. So if it's written, it shall be done.
Oh, my Lord.
Come on. How could you not come up with that? Either of you.
Oh.
I think we're all on the same page in this race. I mean, I went 4 deep, but my top choice is the 9 for pretty much all the same reasons Ray mentioned. Kevin Attard, Rico de Silva, good race from an outside post last time out. Didn't hang on, but again, returns to the same class. De Silva comes back, blah blah blah. But I have and Written is one of my other horses, so I really don't need to go there. Obviously, this horse is dropping back into a level he finished second at two starts back after a not bad fourth on the turf, going obviously up to 20,000, even though it was still non-winners of 2 lifetime. But there are 2 other horses I have that Ray did not mention, so I will mention those 2. The first of the 2 is the number 7, Frost Delay. Jane Wilson gets back aboard, and basically for me, it's more the same thing. If you look, the horse is coming off I'll forgive the first race off the layoff. The horse hadn't run in almost a year, and I would assume basically was protected at 25,000, and they were figuring nobody was going to claim the horse, running for 25,000 at Presque Isle Downs. My guess is that really wasn't the race that they wanted to win. The horse has basically run better at Woodbine. Broke his maiden at a -16th over this track, finished 3rd at this level, 2 starts back. in December, and then of course got laid off for whatever reason, infirmities or what have you. And Emma Jane Wilson was aboard for those 2 starts. Comes back today, and the price is pretty good. I'll take a healthy 12-1 shot in a race that's wide open like this. So he's one of the other horses. The other horse I wanted to use was the horse that Rich actually had the PPs up for earlier, and that was the 2, Valid and Gold. And it's funny, this horse is 21 in the morning line, and you look at it and you say, no, what might I be seeing? Well, if you look back to September 30th, 2016, the horse broke her maiden at 1.1 miles on this surface, and the speed figure is an 80 on British speed figures. But since then, she ran in the turf race in the first start off the layoff in May of 2017 in a straight non-winners one allowance race and got pummeled, obviously. And then the horse had another year layoff, came back in August, and has obviously been healthy because the horse has run 4 times, but the horse has been running at a higher level and on grass. So this horse's form is dark enough that it's like, okay, yeah, who's going to say this horse is going to win at 21? But if you look back at that race that Rich has highlighted, actually, I don't know if that's circled, highlighted, crossed, whatever.
Came out, yeah.
But
it's Friday night.
The horse runs, exactly. If the horse runs back to that race from September of 2016, obviously 2 years ago, so that's asking a lot. But if you're getting 20-1, hey, I would take 20-1 on a horse like that. And if you look at the horses, the odds the horses has gone off at the last 5 starts, 20-1 is probably being kind. I'm thinking this is probably going to go closer to 40, 50-1. And I've seen worse stabs for 50-1 shots. Mm-hmm. And if I happen to be alive, I wouldn't want this horse to beat me, especially considering that the horse has won a race over this track at about this distance. So for me, the 9 was my top choice, but I would also use the 2, the 4, and the 7 in my pick 4. Rich?
9, 2, 4. And I think you guys have already seen this now ad nauseum. The 9 is my top pick in this race, and I didn't really go real deep here. I just went hidden appeal. It's my top choice. Kevin Acard, Eureka Rosa de Silva. That is my favorite jock here at Woodbine. And you see my little smiley face here. And I point out that every once in a while it does happen that the 3 broke guys end up on the exact same horse as our top choice. But those of you who don't know, we do not talk during the week. There is no prep. In case you can't tell, there is no prep for this show, and there is no review of the horses beforehand, and there is no synchronization. So, but every once in a while, we do come up, and every once in a while, there's a blue moon, and from what I understand, the sun comes up in the west every once in a while. But we do end up on the same horse. And Hidden Appeal here, I thought was the speed horse in this race. Came out of the maiden claiming race and stepped up to the next level. And what I always like to see there is when they step up to the next level, I don't actually ever expect you to win that first race off that next level, but I do like it when they compete. In this particular case, again, Eureka Rosa de Silva, he actually stays there and going 1 mile and 16th. As you see there, the caller says all out, failed to hold. It was a 13-horse field and gets beaten by another horse that's in this field. So unfortunately, I can't toss the favorite in this particular case. As Joe said, it is Britain. So I used Britain as well, and I've got the 4. I don't have any arguments with what I heard from the other 2 handicappers, but I did stop just at 2 short here in this race. So I just used the top 2. I used the 9 and the 4. I believe that Joe, as I heard there, went with the 9, the 7, the 2, and the 4. And Ray started us off there with the 9, the 12, and the 4. And I will go ahead and come back, and we can go ahead and work out our ticket real quick. All righty. Sure, 9 and 4. All right, I'll bring up our ticket, and you guys can see what we're all working on here. All right, can you guys see the ticket over there?
The winnings from this show will be used for our 3 entries to the Breeders' Cup at Churchill Downs, airfare, hotel, and admission.
Don't toy with me there, sir.
The winnings from this pitfall.
Not unless on a 20-cent increment. I'm doubting it, but
Well, you're two horses in the last race.
hey, this was not an easy sequence, obviously.
No, it wasn't. No. You get no 3 to 5 here. No.
No.
What's the lowest price horse you saw? 5 to 2, I think. Or 2 to 1.
Lowest morning line
2 to
is
1. Dun and blue.
2 to 1 shot in the Canadian International.
Yeah.
But every other race is at least 5 to 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this could pay good.
Well, again, the problem is that the 20-cent increment is going to mean
right.
It's not the 50-cent increment or the dollar increment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. I mean, again, unless you see 2 50 to 1 shots or 2 20 to 1 shots come in, it's not going to pay for anybody's Breeders' Cup. Let's put it that way. At least not airfare, admission, and hotel. You might be able to gamble a little bit on the Breeders' Cup, but not get. Heck, my guess is it probably costs about $3 just to get in on both days. Considering what it cost us last year.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, no, Breeders' Cup is amazingly, it's only 3 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
And Rich and I will be at Santa Anita if all goes well. I think that is the plan, right, Rich?
Unfortunately, I might have a band performance that I need to be at that weekend. I will have to let you know. Once we get off the air here tonight, I'll tell her, but I'm pretty sure my son unfortunately is in a band performance that night or that weekend, if I'm not mistaken. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
It's showing up there. All right. So
too many red numbers.
Yeah, exactly. For those of you who are familiar with it, the way this works is the red numbers is Ray, the black numbers, the black type there is Joe. Unfortunately, I'm in Dodger blue. The show kind of brought my spirits back up, so let's not talk about that. And the green will be the consolidated Three Broke Guys ticket. So here we go. In that first leg, the 9 shows up. Let's see. The 9 showed up as Ray's top pick. The 1 shows up as Joe's top pick. The 9 was also my top pick, as it turns out. And then we've got the 10 in there as well. And the 10 is on there because me and Ray both have the 10. So we've got some consensus. The second leg, well, the way the second leg worked out is whoever Ray had plus whoever he was able to match up with me and Joe. So Ray's got the 4 as his top pick, and Joe and I, as it turned out, both had the 6 as our top pick. And then Joe had the 1, which matched up with Ray's pick. Surprise. And I had the 2 that matched up with Ray's pick. What a surprise. So we've got 4, 6, 1, 2 there. In the third leg, again, Ray, you've got the top pick, which is the 3. Joe, you've got your top pick, which is the 5. My top pick was also the 3. All of us had the 2, so the 2 goes in there. And then looks like Ray and Rich, you guys both had the 8. So that puts the 8 in there for the consensus. And then in that final leg, everybody had the 9 as their top pick. Joe, you also had the 2 matched up with Ray, who had the 2.
I had the 12.
Oh, excuse me. That's what it is. It's the 12. All right. And so let me drop off your 2 here for temporarily, and then we can work this out. Let's see. The 12 and the 4 then turns out to have some consensus because me and Joe both had the 4.
I think we should leave the 2 because 2.
Yeah, I like the 2. I like Joe's analysis on the 2 as well.
Yeah. That's the
I like this way to one shot there.
I actually like the 2 now too.
I'm assuming it's going to be closer to 50, but okay.
Yeah, I would be surprised. I still like the analysis.
I'm very impressed, and I like the 2 now. So. Right. Joe, you got me on the 2.
Thank you. I'm not sure that's going to be a good thing, but we'll see. I guess
put another $10.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was 96 combinations or it's 144 combinations. So 140. It's either $19.20 or $28.80. So, I mean, an extra $9 based on my analysis. So if it loses, I owe you $4.50 each. Or something like that.
So I like responsibility and gambling. All
I've
right,
had
so,
tougher beats before, man. So.
so our
Maybe
final.
recently, too.
That's the one thing that would make me sick. If we got to that last leg and that 2-horse won and we didn't have it,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
for days.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you gotta be kidding me.
Do we have any? Are there any would I to Carl? You know, as far as our show's concerned, I guess. Do we have any of our heartburn picks in here? Is there anything that that you see on here that you really you handicapped and you felt really strongly about that we're leaving off that you would like to see on the ticket? With the 20-cent increment, and we're at $28.80 at this point in time. I think we've actually got a little bit of room if we want to add one more ticket. I'm okay, so I'll go first and sit there and say now. I'm fine.
I'm trying to think. Looking at it. Okay, because we have written of mine. The only horse that I'm wary of is that we're throwing out the favorite in the first leg, Wiley O'Reilly. Now I'm not. Again, it was a tough race, and it's
Good point.
Not my strongest opinion, but I mean, But the thing is, I'm the only one who picked it, so I don't want to be. I don't want to.
He was on my second line, so he was down there in my second line. I was trying to stay away from the favorite because I went. What for me was.
I mean, that would be the only thing that I would worry about. Other than that, I think we're okay. I mean, I don't know if other than that, we're good.
What do you think, Ray? You want to add the 8 in the first leg and?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
It was 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64, and then the 3 is what 180,
192,
192.
By 5,
so 38.40.
Yeah. Oh wait a minute, hold it. 192 times 0.2. Yeah.
38.40. All right.
I would hate to leave out Johnny Bear and Focus Group with like 2. I don't know.
I was actually surprised that Johnny Bear was not on Joe's ticket.
Yeah.
I thought it had become one of his Woodbine favorites. And actually, I was going to share with you, Joe, that we had a note here from our friend Patrick Hagan, who actually he has Johnny Bear as his top pick in that particular race. English. I should say. Excuse me. He has English Illusion over Johnny Bear for me as 1-2 finish for the locals. So he had English Illusion as his top choice.
See, and English Illusion's not even on Ray's ticket.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There we go.
There you go. All right. And with a name like English Illusion, I should have it, right?
So for those of you who are watching, you got a little bit of insight there into how the 3 broke guys put together a ticket. We've got 9, 1, 10, 8 with 4, 6, 1, 2 with 3, 5, 2, 8 and 9, 2, 4 in the finale. And that'll give us $38.40 overall as our pick 4 ticket.
Hold on, let me just make sure I have it written, Rich. 1, 8, 9, 10. Now again, folks, one thing we need to make sure is that if there are scratches, we will changes and adjust on the fly. Okay. All right, got it.
Let me come on back for one final time here, and we will say goodnight to everybody. Before I say goodnight to everybody, though, and I'll give you one more insight into how we do things around here and things like that. We actually did not pick a racetrack, if you can believe this, for next week. And so we kind of came into this one, and it looks to me that we might have a toss-up, I guess, potentially between 3. One would be a long shot outsider like that. But first up would be it looks like Laurel has got some state break races. It would start with the Maryland Million Classic. They've got the Maryland Million Distaff, the Distaff Starter. They've got a whole slew of stakes races there loaded for October the 20th. And again, those are all at Laurel. It looks like as many as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, 11 stakes races on tap for that day. Or if we stay in Mr. Torado's backyard there, they have the Empire Classic Stakes, they have the Empire Distaff Stakes, they have the Hudson, they have the Iroquois,
Neil
the Myth, and the Mohawk. So they've got really a fabulous actually day there for Belmont. And the outsider, I'll throw this in there, which is a long shot. I'm sure Joe will actually throw this will perk his ears up like that. Ascot Racing has got the British champion fillies and mares, and the British champion long distance, and the British champion sprint, and champion stakes, and the Queen Elizabeth II stakes. So you've got a whole
Rich, to be honest, I'd love to do it. The only question I have is, would there actually be a pick 4 sequence for us to pick?
Yeah.
Or are we actually just picking races? I mean, we could do that too instead of doing a pick 4, but I mean, maybe that would be something we could do if we found out maybe that like TVG was doing like, money back special.
That would be nice.
Maybe we could pick like each of us pick one horse as a money back special for that day. I mean, because again, I don't know, because I know that earlier, like last week, they did that pick 4 with the 2 races in New York and the 2 races in France, the Arc and the Prix de l'Opera. But I don't know if anybody's going to do any pick 4s with the Ascot races. All right. Otherwise, I would, but.
At this point in time, how about this? How about if we queue up Belmont for this stake at this point in time? That's one of our. I do enjoy that day. That's like the Empire Stakes Day, and so we'll go ahead and put Belmont on the card and let that. However, just keep your ears peeled, folks. If you're interested in the show and things like that, maybe we'll go ahead and throw in Ascot as well as a special bonus for 3 Broke Guys.
And if the rain happens to force all those races off the turf on Belmont. The New York Showcase Day, maybe we do Laurel, or we'll play it by ear, I guess.
All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week because that's what the 3 Broke Guys do. We will get together and take a look at another exciting card. It sounds like we're going to be at Belmont, but again, stay tuned. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the 2 of you.
Always a pleasure. Yes.
The highlight.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching 3 Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.